Emily, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to make a video about my Royals FanFest experience because it was fun. I've also made concert experience videos, and this isn't like a concert, but it's still like cool and an event, so I wanted to make a video about it. I don't know if all Major League Baseball teams do this, or I'm assuming they do. It's a convention for Royals fans, and they have like a whole bunch of like you get to meet players, get autographs. They have like a main stage, so they have a whole bunch of like interviews with different people. I know I watched like the outfielder one. There was like one with catchers and pitchers. It was really cool because it was just like kind of a way to connect with Royals fans and also the players. They had a whole bunch. They also had a whole bunch of like different games and different booths and stuff. A lot of companies that like sponsor the Royals and everything was there. Like there was a Price Chopper booth. They were giving me like coupons and stuff. There's one for University of Kansas Health System, but there was a whole lot of stuff like that. I think the Academy Sports and Outdoors had a booth. There's like Omaha Storm Chasers had a booth. The Negro Leagues. And they also had like you could take pictures with the trophies. And then you could also, they had like a Hall of Fame. Casey, who's the W guy who puts like the W up on the wins. He was there signing, and he was actually signing little W's. Casey signed one of these for me, and I also just have a blank one. It was Friday and Saturday, and I got tickets for Christmas from one of my friends, and my brother went with me on Friday, and so when we first got there, we just kind of like walked around, just kind of saw what was there, looking at a few things, that kind of a thing. We were trying to figure out how the autograph lines work, and so basically it's weird. So they have two lines. They only let 150 people, I think it was, get autographs. So there was like one line of 150 people, and then there was like another place, so that way when that line filled up, you could get in this other one. Whenever it was like time for the next one, like this one side would like be able to go on stage and get their autograph. So we were trying to figure that out. We got in a line and we waited there for like an hour and a half or something like that, because we didn't realize how it worked. Though once the person walked up on stage, so many people in the line that was going to get the autograph would leave. So I think the thing is you just like kind of hang around and see who it is, and then because if it's somebody who's been there like at multiple, or someone that, I don't know if it's just they already had the autographs or if they just didn't want to meet the person, but a lot of people would leave. So you can like kind of sneak your way in to the end of that line. We didn't know that, so we were standing in line. I finally had someone come up and sign. It was Danny Duffy. Here it is. I already got, case. Oh, there's a glare. You can't see that. Let's see. I already got the case for that, so that was cool. He's really nice. He's a really nice person. So we're just kind of like, talking. He's signing the ball, and then after that, we just kind of like walked around for a little bit more. We stopped at a couple different booths, we also walked through the merchandise area. We went and we sat at the main stage, listened to the outfielders. Ryan Lefevre just kind of like was doing interviews and stuff. They answered audience questions, so that was kind of interesting to see. And then, so we watched that for a while, and then at this time, we got into another line, and so we're just kind of standing there waiting again. And it was actually not an hour and a half. It was probably 20-ish minutes, I think, for this one. But it was just one that, like, it was almost full, but everywhere else was full unless you wanted to wait another, like, hour and a half. So we got in this line, and this was actually the last one we did, or the last thing we were doing before we left. We got in this line, and we were like, okay, cool, this is the last thing we're doing, and then we're leaving. And it ended up happening. It's Duffy again, so number 2 in Duffy's line. I know this one because the first one he signed with the blue ballpoint pen, and which I have another baseball from a previous meetup thing he signed by Drew Butera, and he signed it with this because when I was waiting in line for that, they're like, oh, have them do that because that color's that kind of pen is the best on baseball. So I was like, okay, so that's why I had him do that. And then for this one, which he was like, oh hey again, but he said that this black Sharpie was working really well on that material, so he's like, I'm just gonna sign with this again. And so I'm like, okay. That was kind of going through it a little fast. We walked around the place a couple of times. We walked through the Hall of Fame thing, so it wasn't like that's all we did. And then Saturday, I went with my dad, and when we got there, we kind of also did like a lap around just to kind of, because I kind of knew where everything was, but he, just to give him a feel of where everything was. We stopped at a lot more booths. A lot of the booths had like little games and stuff where you can win random things, like drawstring bags, and I got like a stress ball that looked like a baseball. First autograph line we got in was ended up being Drew Butera. We kind of had it a little more worked out from the previous day of how like the lines worked. So so we didn't have to wait quite as long, but that one was Drew Butera. And then also on Saturday, I remembered to take my baseball cards, which I had forgotten them on Friday. But I got this sign because I already had a baseball from him. I always feel awkward in these kind of things because I get up there and I'm like, gosh, I don't know what to say. Yay baseball, can't wait, and everything. And even like Drew, I'm like, oh, I should say, hey, congrats, you're being engaged and stuff, even though that was months ago and I already, commented on his picture. But I was like, and I got up there and I'm just like, oh, hey, what's up? And I'm really awkward. I'm just an awkward person. My dad was a lot better at talking to them than I was, just because that's how my dad is. And then we walked around for a little bit, and then we got food. It's ballpark food, and so we went and we got in another line and just kind of like sat for a while and waited. This line was the one, we were standing in this line when they had the catchers and they have the pitchers? No, I think it was just the catchers. They had the catchers up. This is where Salvi made the phone call to Lorenzo Cain. And it was funny because we were standing in the line, and all of a sudden, because whatever was going on the main stage was like on the loudspeaker, so I could hear it. And so all of a sudden I hear Salvi going, hey, Lolo! And I'm like, I bet you he just called Lorenzo Cain. And then like you could hear like hit Cain through the phone, and I'm like, yep, he called Cain. So in this autograph line, it ended up being Jason Hamill, and there's that ball. That was nice. So my dad walks up, he's like, hey, I'm ready for some Hamill time this season. That was cool. I feel like I'm not explaining these very well or talking a lot about him, but I mean, there wasn't a lot. It was pretty chill, so it wasn't like, I don't know, we didn't sit there and have like a 10-minute conversation about any of this. We walked around a little bit more. We went to the Price Chopper booth a lot because they had like some really good coupons and stuff there. We went around again, and then we got in another line, and this line was right next to the stage, so they were finishing up with infielders. Yeah, they were finishing up with the infielders. I went close to the front of this line, and the person, because once they had the line next to us that was full because they went first, that was Gordo, and I was sitting there, I'm like, oh man, that would have been a cool autograph to get, because Gordo is really cool. I like Gordo a lot. Anyway, the person who ours was Duffy again. Duffy and I are basically best friends at this point. But that one, I had him sign a baseball card, which I don't have it because it was my parents' baseball card. And it's in my parents' room, and I have no idea where it's at. So, you've seen Duffy's signature on 2 of these baseballs, so. We walked around a little bit more, did a couple more booths, and then that was about the time we left. I hope you enjoyed my Royals FanFest experience. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thumbs up if you love the Royals. Subscribe to my channel if you want to be notified when I post more videos. I'm trying to be better at posting videos. Mostly because I have a friend that keeps telling me to post videos all the time. All my links are down there in the description, so you can go check those out. Well, we're going to start that right away, are we? Oh, there's something on my computer. And then, what was I saying? Okay. It's been a while since I made a video, so I can't remember like how this goes apparently. Royals FanFest, my Royals FanFest. It's for, whoop, kick my computer. Oh, what was the other thing? And where does that go actually? Oh, because there's one of that. There's an autographed one up here somewhere. My desk is a mess, so I'm not exactly sure where it is. I swear it was just like right here. Or maybe, no, I think it went over there actually. Oh shoot, which one is that? It's Daniel Duffy. Daniel? Why did I just say Daniel? Can't remember what things are called apparently. It's been so long since this, it was only like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I just messed these up. My foot fell asleep. Oh my gosh, what do you... Nah. Oh, I just messed that up. We're like, okay. This... And yes, I am wearing a Hosmer t-shirt